Hello and welcome to Star Productions, spiritually trained and renewed productions. Today in the studio we have Dr. Beauty. Dwayne Richards comes to our studio to tell us all about the fascinating world of makeup and hair. Stay tuned. Hello again and welcome back. I'm Max is here with Star Productions. To my left, I have the distinguished Mr. Dwayne Richards. Dr. Beauty. You can say hello to the folks.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Max, for having me here.
Oh
today.
man, it's a pleasure of having you. This been a long awaiting interview. I've been tracking down Dwayne forever, and then finally, out of his busy schedule, we got a chance to actually sit down together and talk about his brand and the wonderful work he's doing here in Nashville and across the country. Let's start here by asking you, who is Dwayne Richards?
Dwayne Richards, to me, is the person who goes into those unforeseen places, those dark places, to discover light. And I've realized a while back that I had the gift of being able to make things beautiful.
Wow.
And so I've been trained in different areas, hair and makeup, and I actually started with a passion for photography. And I realized that the job of Dr. Beauty is to go and to assist people in finding that light and help tell their story through beauty.
Nice, nice. You kind of hinted to my second question. I wanted to ask you about Dr. Beauty. How did you come up with the name Dr. Beauty?
So I actually started out with, a license with hair, and I acquired the name hair doctor in school. And I guess I just wanted to learn more about the chemistry of hair color and all the technical side of it. And then shortly after I graduated, I then began to do makeup, and it just kind of started to make sense. And I think it was actually someone else's idea who brought it to my attention. Someone mentioned it, and I said, "Wow, that sounds great." And then I thought about the name Dwayne Richards Beauty, and it just fit. And so we've been running with it for a while now,
Nice.
and I think it's starting to evolve into the totality of the vision that I saw.
Wow, that's actually a good touch. That's a good touch. It's Dwayne Richards Beauty.
Yeah.
That's innovative. You can't buy that anywhere else. So, what is a hairstylist and what is a makeup artist? Can you be one without the other?
Yes, most definitely. I don't want. One thing I want to let others know who see what I do. I'm multi-talented or just inquisitive about different things, and I like to see the big picture. And so, hairstyling came to me, and I understood how hair and the reflection of color and shape and how you do those to accentuate the face shape. However, with makeup, you're focusing on the face, but contouring, highlight, it's the same principles and elements.
Yeah.
It's just dissecting those and pulling together a complete image and a complete picture.
Wow.
And so putting those two together, you have, the vision of what most people try to attain, which is the complete look. And
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Wow. Fascinating. And you could tell that he knows what he's talking about. If you're looking at our faces, you'll see it's two different faces. This man knows how to put it all together. So, when did you get started in your line of business? When did you get started with the whole empire of Dr. Richards? How did it start? Was it one morning you woke up and said, "You know what? I think I can do hair. I can do makeup." When did that story start?
So before I started doing hair and makeup, I actually used to renovate houses, and so that played into what I do now. Except it's a little bit easier on my hands, and actually decided to leave that line of work. And I went to a friend's house, and for 30 days I did nothing. I cut my phone off, and I was like, "God, what is it? What is it?" And literally, it's almost as if we were sitting here earlier today and the sun kind of came out. It was that moment.
Yeah.
Literally, I was standing in the window and the sun came out, and he said, "Go to barber school."
Wow.
So barbering school was how I got started in doing hair. And ironically, It was the same barber. It was the same school that I helped my aunt clean 15 years earlier when I was in my youth. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. And impressive though. Wow. So from first of all, the light came on.
yeah.
The sun came on, and then from barber school, you went to the next level. How was that different from barber school to hairstylist?
So barbering school, it was a little bit different. I didn't have an interest in really styling hair. I just knew that God had led me that way. And so what barbering school allowed me to do was to learn the art of cutting. And without a good cut, you don't have a good style. No matter how much curling or camouflaging you can do, you don't, if you don't understand those basics, you're kind of like lost in the mix. And so I went every day, stayed over, came late, came early and stayed late. And then I went just on every free event or free thing that we did for the community, and just started to get in the groove of it. And I started to see how I could fit in that role, and just the feeling that I would feel when I would see people who would come in or who had had a haircut in like 2 or 3 years. That feeling, and I was like, oh man, that's what I want, So now we're here.
Now, it's funny you mentioned taking the time out to volunteer to get the experience. A lot of time, people who want to achieve something, they don't understand that sometimes you just have to give some of your time away to get better at your craft before you could start playing at big league.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate a little bit on that, the whole idea of volunteering your time at a certain season in your life so that you can get better at your crafting?
Yeah, so I would have to go back to a story in my youth. My grandfather, who I'm inspired by, he taught us that sometimes when we work, we don't always get paid. And so just because you don't get paid doesn't mean that you don't have to do the work or do good work. And so there were long days, growing up in the church and just learning how to take care of something. I learned that from him, and that just stuck with me. So between that and the work ethic that he gave me, I realized, there were valuable lessons. Like when I would be sweeping the corner or the sidewalk around the church, I'm like, it gives me time to think. And it's like, well, why am I doing this? What is it for? Who will it help? I think about it. We used to have a walnut tree, and the walnuts would fall. And I never understood why we had to go clean up the walnuts. Then I realized we have a bunch of ladies coming to church, we don't want somebody to fall. But, so those lessons helped me when I came into my career and helped me to understand that in order to get better, you have to practice. And how else what better way to practice than someone who probably really needs what you have, maybe can't afford it, maybe, is not exposed to what you can offer or what you can do, and just offering that to them, and just the mutual exchange that's happening in that moment. You're learning someone, you're hearing their story, you're able to be a help to someone else, even in your moment of volunteering, and that's how you grow and you build character and you build those qualities that you need to be able to play on a different level in this industry. So
Cool. Can you explain to me, you have a line on your website, a famous quote that says, healing people with the power of transformation and the gift of beauty. I like that line so much, I almost want to do a voiceover for the company. Can you explain to us, what does that line mean to you?
Wow. As a person who embraces change, or likes being able to see the fullest vision of what something can be, I realized I had the gift of being able to transform things, whether it be a home or landscape or an event. And now I do that with beauty, and I realize that this avenue where I am is what I was created for. My mom being in the industry and for 30 years now.
Wow.
Seeing her, it took me going to school and then working those years to see what she actually did. And then I began to have a deeper appreciation for what it was, and I realized the healing and the transformation that takes place in that moment, in that time. Some people think it's, superficial, it's vain, it's, but not all the time it's that, you know. Some it's it's the bigger, it's the underlying
Yes.
part of the industry, and that's what I want to bring back and create a foundation for the youth who, or the people who might be inspired to realize that this is not just me getting to play in makeup all day.
Right.
It's a deeper meaning behind it, and it's actually something a friend of mine, actually it's like a mentor, Miss Kamitra. She has sat with me all of last year, and she helped me to dissect what it was I was actually doing. And she gave me a little sticky note, and at one point I was Uber driving. She told me to put it in my car, and every person got in. I was like, "Oh, that's a nice sticky note," and I forgot what it said, but it's right there, and it says, "Beauty is a ministry."
Oh.
And so, trying to avoid other platforms of like maybe being in a church, in a pulpit, just because I didn't want that stereotype. I realized that God had a different platform for me, and then I had to embrace it.
Sure.
And just as if a pastor were speaking a word, or a counselor,
Yeah.
that's my role in the industry. So.
Yeah, I call it marketplace ministry, and I didn't call it that. It's a term that's been known right now for a while in ministry. You do ministry where you're passionate about. You do ministry where you are, and you are doing just as an effective work that somebody would do in a pulpit. You're doing it where you're called to be, and in your case, it's hair and makeup and more. And where you are, you're touching lives, you're helping people. So in light of that, I want to ask, do you see, I say women because a lot of your clients are women. Do you, but I know men can do makeup too, but do you see women, do you see a change happening from inside out when they go from a makeup session from beginning to end? Do you see a change physically, facially, that happens to them?
Yeah, it's almost like putting on. It's almost like trying on clothes, because makeup is different almost every time. You get to try something different, whether it's a color, it's a lip gloss. It's like trying on something and it fits, and when it's done right, it just fits. And it's almost a feeling you can't explain other than going into a dressing room, putting it on, and say, you know what, this is it.
Yeah.
And when I can see that moment, when I usually turn a client around or they pick up the mirror for the first time after their session is done, it's just something it's almost magical in that moment. And I try not to get too deep with it, but I like to say...
Get deep.
I like to say that I want people to see what I see in them, but only not because of what I want, but I want them to see what God sees in them.
Wow.
And I think that has been the driving force to get to that moment for those people, because a lot of times I don't get to work with clients over and over again. You know, sometimes I'm just really busy or if we're not booked out. And so I try to make that moment and that time sacred for us to have that transformation process. And then it's, you know, it's fun. It's
Wow.
makeup, you know, something that a lot of people don't understand could be medicine. You know, it could be just a different lip color
Yeah.
to brighten somebody's day. And, you know, if that's what I have to do, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So my next question for you is, what are some of the events you've been brought in to do hair and makeup? What kind of events that you do? Anywhere from fashion show to movie set to theater. What are some of the events you've been working on?
So
You have worked on.
I have worked on, and I have a background in musical theater from high school, and
So do I.
yeah. That's probably where it first started, was in high school. But from then, I was signed with an agency, worked on commercials, and then that's when I became licensed. So now I'm into more fashion shows, more award shows. Let's see, Stello Gospel Music Award Show. That would be one of the first, probably full-scale productions that I've been a part of as far as award shows. Let's see, Black Music Honors, which is an event that's sponsoring the African American Museum of African American Music, which is going to be releasing here or opening here in 2019. So I've been that part of that for 2 years, fortunately, and everything else just kind of blends in together with that. So fashion shows seem to be where I'm able to be really creative, have a bigger vision. So I've been a part of countless fashion shows since I first started, between Nashville Fashion Week, notably Nashville here in Nashville, Tennessee, and it almost kind of just melts together with me being in hair, makeup, and photography. So when you're talking about what I do, it's a combination of any variety of those things. So now I'm just planning on scaling that and branching out and getting myself in different networks and markets so that others can see that it's possible to go into those places.
Wow.
So
one thing I like about you is even at your status right now in your field, you still manage to take some time away to do volunteer work. And we did an event together, you and I noticed how you didn't really ask for money. You wanted to be part of something that somebody else's vision, but at the same time, you brought your best and you brought some of your best people on board. And I got to witness this firsthand. And I got to compliment you on that, because a lot of people, a lot of time, they reach certain plateau, and as soon as they reach that level, it's almost they're unreachable at that point. You can't get them to do anything else. You can't get them to volunteer for anything. You can't get them to do any kind of, let's say, smaller events. But I was very happy to see that you came on board, and I'm pretty sure there are other organizations that your company goes on board to just help out and just be part of another person's production. So that's quite amazing, and I appreciate that quite a bit that you do that. How does someone book a hair appointment with you or a makeup session with you? How do they do that?
Yeah, so I want to make it easy for people to contact me or get in connection with me, and so I have a website, and I actually switch it around where you don't have to go within the website to figure it out. It's all there. If you go to DwayneRichards.com, it's there. I have 5 options where you can either follow me, you can book a hair appointment, or with clients that I work with who need a special engagement or they need on location, I have an option for that where you can actually send me a direct message straight from the website to book an appointment. So
nice,
making it easy.
Nice. You can find them if you need them. If you need help, you can find it. You can find it. So, can they afford you?
Well, yeah, I believe
it's relative, huh?
Yeah, I believe that you. It's just like a nice steak. If you're into steak, I'm into makeup and other things. So it's not one of those things where it's I'm coming every day or every week. But if it's you need to come once a month or fly in once a quarter. You prepare, and because I want to bring my best.
Nice.
And so I realized over the years, with all that I have been able to do and somewhat accomplish at this point, I need to be able to place myself in a certain market so that I can bring the best for my clients. Because to me, it's about my client's experience.
Absolutely.
And so if I can provide that experience, then my job is done.
Nice.
And so as a businessman, I also realize that I have to, do business as well. So.
Have you had a group of women who are about maybe do a ghost trip or whatever, just come to you for one session? They all want makeup. Have you had that happen?
More so because I do a lot of weddings. I actually have been proposed to join a part of a production who actually specializes in that. And so until I scale the team a little bit bigger to be able to accommodate, right now my schedule doesn't permit for me to take time out for that. But I've had several requests. And that's one of the things we're thinking about for 2018 is to figure out how we can put that into the business as well. Since Nashville is really becoming a place where a lot of bachelorette parties are.
Oh yeah.
Come in here and
I heard it's number one spot bachelorettes come to when they want to have a good time.
Oh yeah.
I see them downtown on that little chariot. Woo!
Right, the little pedal taverns. They know how to party. I'm telling you, find you a group of bachelorette party. They know how to party.
That's true.
And look good while doing it. I promise you. These girls go all out.
They do.
They go all out. Yeah.
what's the difference doing makeup for men or doing makeup for women in terms of how different is it? I know men are pretty fast. When I go on a movie set, they just slap a few pouch of powder on me that you're done.
Yeah.
And so how deep one has to be when it comes to women. What's the difference there between men and women makeup?
So you have to really figure out what is the goal. What are you trying to attain?
Okay.
With television and film, it's different for every day. And we're talking about for women and men. And one thing I found that when you're working on production for television and film, you want to make sure that everyone comes off looking as natural as possible.
That's what it
unless it's red carpet, then that's the time to shine. But when you're on camera or you're in a production, your job is to tell the story. It's not about the makeup. And so I know a lot of people who want to work in television and film, but they have a makeup style or a hair artistry style that caters more towards the avant-garde or the more glamorous, flashy side of things. But it's one of those things you just have to gauge and kind of know. But for me, working with men, it is really easy. It's easier for me, but you also have to be careful, because when I work with clients who speak to large corporations, is a public speaker, one in particular, and very manly. Very manly. And one thing I don't want to do is to take that away, because that's his power when he's commanding the audience to be able to engage them. I don't want them to be distracted by, wow, he's wearing makeup. I want them to see see and hear and feel and take in what he's talking about.
Nice.
However, for television and film or for pictures, we want to make sure that everything translates well. And that's one of the benefits of makeup, is that when you're on camera, you tend to look a little bit different when you're under a bunch of lights,
right,
opposed to when you're in front of someone. So
Sure.
makeup just, kind of butters it up just a little bit to make it a little bit more pleasing to the eye to be able to receive it, so that you don't have too many distractions.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good. I understand that you teach hair and makeup classes.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so gearing up for 2018, we're gonna start doing more hair classes. Right now, I'm working with the makeup class. I have more people interested in learning how to do makeup, and I guess it's because of the YouTube trend, the YouTube craze, which I get. So makeup has been the forefront of the education part of Dwayne Richards Beauty. We're going to incorporate hair more and teaching how you bring hair, makeup, and the importance of those in elements when you're talking about photography or videography or telling a story. And so I'm working with a team so that we can be able to scale that and put that in a small package, because a lot of people don't have time. And that's one of the things that we're just trying to make sure is that we do it in a time efficient manner where the students don't feel rushed, where they're able to pick up something from it and move on. But we're actually geared up for 6 classes for 2018 already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now is the time to book.
Yeah. So that's going to be part of the focus, is, taking time to give back with that. Because I do have a lot of people who reach out and want to understand what it is, and I want to take time to let them know that it's not just about what you see that I do, who I work with. It's about the craft, and it's about the business, and it's about the ministry, and it's about your gift, and focusing on that. And so that's one of the things I'm planning to incorporate in the education with hair and makeup.
It's awesome. I know I'm sending my girls to that, because they want to learn more. They want to be better at what they do.
Yeah.
And especially my daughter is breaking out in the modeling industry. Sometimes she just might have to start without the makeup artist.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to book my appointments early.
Yeah, she'll
to
be
make
front
sure we
row.
make that happen.
Front row.
So having been in this business since 2005, I've seen a lot of egos. I've seen a lot of attitudes. I've seen a lot of people disrespecting people on set. Tell me a little bit about some of the attitudes you've seen when that person sits on your chair. Have you seen people who's getting a lot of control when you're doing their makeup or hair? Have you seen any of that?
Yeah, well, I've experienced it being in the room, but I would say I've only probably had maybe 1 or 2 bad, not bad, well, challenging experiences with clients.
Good way to put it.
I just like to come in with a different type of energy when I come into the room, and I know I come to do a job. And sometimes part of my job is conflict, diffusing conflict or changing the energy in the room. And that's another trait that a lot of people don't understand that goes with your job, is Learning to be able to not just assess your client's face or assess your client's hair, it's to assess the environment, to assess what's going on. Does your client look tired? Are they upset? Or did they come in on the phone? Are their eyes red? Are they struggling? Did they drop things coming in? And so these are all things that you're responsible for paying attention to when you come in the room.
Wow.
Because at the end of the day, you have to do a job, and you can't let those things take over what you come to do, because at the end of the day, if the makeup doesn't turn out right or the hair doesn't turn out right in the amount of time that you're given, then you're the one that's not going to be able to finish, or be asked back. And so I would say the main thing is just in that moment, if you are working with someone and they are frustrated or the egos tend to have, just take the back seat. Take the back seat, because it's not about you. It's not about you. And sometimes it's not even about the person in your chair. It's about the vision and the story that's supposed to be told. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
Something there. that was free.
Yeah.
So the makeup artist or the hairstylist, it's not just he's not or she's not going in to just do a job. You're assessing your whole environment. You're assessing how things are happening. You have to have keen perception of what's going on, who's sitting there, and how you can bring healing to them. Here comes that line again.
Yeah.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about the struggle you've had to be where you are. One of the reasons why I've opened this YouTube channel is that I want to bring people who has had some measure of success in their field on board. But I also want people to know that you didn't just pop where you are out of nowhere. You had to go through a season of learning, of training, of maybe hurting till you get where you are. Have you had any kind of struggles that you had to deal with to get you where you are now?
Yeah, so most of my career, I have worked independently. Until I started building a team. And the team consisted of people that I knew, that I trusted. And then I decided to dissolve that for a while, take a break, and reassess where I wanted to take my career. It wasn't until then where I began to work with other people who were a little bit more challenging, people who I didn't have time to build relationships with, who didn't get to really know me. And so sometimes, communication can be off, or intention could be off, and then that breeds negative energy. And then then conflict comes, and then all the other things that comes with that. I will say this: I have been in situations that were very uncomfortable for me, that made me question: was this the right industry for me? Was this the right job for me? Can I deal with these type of people? Can I push through and get to where God is telling me that's where I need to go? And when I think about that thing, it pushes me past all the conflict. I will say that I have been hurt a few times. It's just like we're adults, but we're just like big kids. Right. Especially in my industry, where we get to really have fun and get to go to those places of being a child. Sometimes those feelings come back. When you get your feelings hurt, but you just learn as an adult, and even as a business owner, to just say, you know what. Suck it up, shake it off, and you move on. And you say, what did I learn from this? Why did I face this issue? Why did I face this confrontation? And I would say this: don't dwell in those moments.
Good.
They're just teaching moments. Relationships that will dissolve, business partnerships that will dissolve. Friends, who might not understand where you're going, or what you're about, or what you're doing, or what you see. And those other friends who maybe see it, but want it not for you, but they want it for themselves. So it's one of those things where you just it goes back to being grounded, knowing who you are, knowing why you were created, and knowing what your purpose is. And if you keep reflecting back on that, it will help you push through those hard times, push through that hurt, push through that doubt of, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Yeah. So
it's good. It's good. During a modeling event that you and I were part of, I noticed that after the event was done, there was a strong ministry that was done afterwards with your team. There was prayer, and There were tears, and it was powerful, so powerful. I took the time to just stay there to watch the whole thing, and prayer was a big part of it. As you were thanking your team for being there, a bunch of professionals, I have to say, that you brought on board, and I was very happy that they were part of that event. Uh, what role does prayer play in your life?
It's almost my permission for me. If I don't pray about it, or if it's not constantly in my spirit to just keep asking God, what's the next step? What am I supposed to do? I don't do it. And you know, sometimes he pushes me through to say, this is a step of faith. Do you trust me? Even in that prayer itself, it's like, okay, now walk through it. So that moment, thinking back on it now, I'm just like, I didn't see the end of the event, and I didn't know how we were going to get there. Yet I knew I had a vision of where we wanted to go, and I knew that he had sent me the people to do what we needed to do. And so, in that moment at the end of the show, I realized the work had been done, and that whatever it was that either maybe had me stressed out, or maybe made me feel like this wasn't, you know, maybe what my team needed, God reminded me in that moment, this is it. This is it. This is just what it's supposed to be. Take this moment, be grateful for this moment, and show everybody else that I am God. This is not you. This is not your doing. You don't create any of this. It comes from me. And in that moment, I wanted to let them know how humble I was and how grateful I was that they took time out to help me help someone else with their vision, because I know along the way someone has helped me to get to where I am. And I just was led in that moment, not knowing what everybody's religious beliefs were. But sometimes I'm just like, you know, it's on my heart and tugging on me to just, in that moment, in a place that's unconventional, in an environment where that might not be received well. But it's like, I forgot the scripture, but it's like, if God be for us,
Who can be against
who can
us?
be against us? You know? And I feel like I had the people who were there on the front line with me, ready to attack whatever that was in that moment, to push the agenda and to let people see the light.
Wow.
And so I didn't even realize that you were there watching in that moment, but that was me stepping out of self and saying, you know what? Now that this is done, what is the next thing? Let's seal this.
Yeah.
Let's pour back into these people who have poured out. And that's one of the things I wanted to do. And not of my own self. I wanted them to know that God put it on my heart for me to share with them.
Yeah.
That I'm thinking about. He's put this in me. I didn't want to just use them for that moment.
Yes.
I wanted to see them grow. I want them to dream more. I want them to envision the next thing. And you know, I want them to let them know that I'm there for them. You know, when that thing comes for them, I'm here for you.
Wow.
So
Man, it was a powerful moment. Powerful. I mean, I came backstage to thank you because the models look so great. And especially I had a personal stake in that. My daughter was part of the fashion show. And I came to thank you because she looked so amazing. And then I stumbled upon this moment, this precious moment. And I'm like, man, I have to ask you, because this moment was priceless for me. Just to see those professionals back there, makeup artists and hairstylists, getting together and actually enjoying each other's company and thanking God for putting all this together, because y'all make a lot of magic happen that people don't understand. You know, you send the models out, the actors go on stage or go ready for a camera. There is a makeup artist, there is a hairstylist behind it that's making all that magic come true. So that was powerful. Man, before we end, tell us, how do we find you? How do we follow you? I know we talked about the website. What are the other means that people can actually stay in touch with you, get in touch with you, and know the Dr. Beauty brand?
yeah, so we have my website, of course. That's www.dwaynerichards.com, and that's spelled DEWAYNE. On the first page, there's a link. There's several links that I told you about, and you can actually follow me on Facebook. So if you go to the website, it'll take you to these places. I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram page, and it's Beauty by Dwayne Richards. And also on the website, one of the things I want to be adding for 2018 is our Dwayne Richards Busy Bees. And so that's how you'll be able to kind of buzz around and kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. So if you want to go to the website and just sign up for my newsletter or sign up for my notifications, you'll be able to do that right on the website. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Man, I am so glad you took time out of what is a crazy busy schedule you have to be with us at Star Productions. I hope that you have learned something today. And before I give Dwayne the last word to say to the audience, I hope that you're following this man and you are going to take a look at the website. You are going to take a look at social media to experience what I've experienced being in touch with him and seeing him in action. Could you tell us any last word? Anybody you want to talk to? Anything that comes to your heart at all? Maybe the young Dwayne Richard is looking at you, and he's at the point of desperation, or maybe started this whole business, did not want to continue, and you might have a message for them.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to them?
So I would like to say to you out there who's sitting here watching this and you felt that in your heart, like was something that I said, something that I done or interaction during this interview, if you felt it, believe me, I have been where you are. I have been where you are. One of the things I want you to do is to focus on chasing the dream. God gives you the dream. The dream is an indication of where you're going. And I want you to prepare. The art of preparation is so big. So take small steps every day to work towards that dream. I would say get your notebook, start writing down, if you want to do it electronically, put it on your notes, on your iPad or your iPhone, and start aligning yourself with that dream, with that vision that God has given you. The passion that you have will grow. The other things you can learn. You can learn how to pick up a makeup brush. You can learn how to curl a curling iron the right way. You can learn how to snap a picture. Those things will come. Work on getting to that innermost part of yourself as to why did God give me this dream? What do I have to offer? And allow yourself to not be afraid. Allow yourself not to be worried about what other people will think about you, any perceptions, because at the end of the day, you have one life. You have one life. And it is your job to do what you're supposed to do here in this earth in that one life. Wow. And I want you to know that I'm doing this for you so that you can see that you can do it too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dwayne, thank you so much for being with me. Yeah. I gotta get you something here. Yeah. This was another edition of Star Productions Interview. I have with me in the studio Dr. Beauty, Dwayne Richard. You go check out his website. We'll put all that information for you in the notes, all that information for you on the screen to check out how to follow him. Mm-hmm. This was a precious moment for me. I've been blessed. I've been touched in many ways. And I'm so glad I've invited you as one of our guests to be here. Listen, this is Star Productions, Spiritually Trained and Renewed Productions. It is not enough to be talented. You have to be spiritually trained and renewed. I'm Max Desir with my guest, Dwayne Richard. Thank you so much, and y'all have a blessed day. Follow us on, the social media. Just follow us. Take care.